Hey guys, Tina here and welcome to another video. Today I'm filming a review of A Poison, Dark and Drowning by Jessica Clueless. I would like to thank the publisher for providing me an ARC of this book in exchange for an honest review. And before I get to it, I would just like to inform you that there are going to be no spoilers in this video, so it's, safe to watch in case you're curious about the book. So, Poison, Dark and Drowning is a sequel to A Shadow, Bright and Burning, which came out last year, and I've read it, and I will leave the video in which I talk about it up here so you can go check it out. I've really enjoyed it, and naturally I wanted to read the sequel, which is what this is. These books tell the story of Henrietta Howell. She's a 16-year-old girl living in the 1800s of Britain, and this is a slightly different world to our own because, as opposed to our own world, there is magic, and Henrietta does have some power in that regard. When we meet her, she's living in a boarding school that houses orphans, and she's a teacher there, and she has one great friend, and that is a boy called Rook. As I already mentioned, Henrietta can wield magic, but it is something that she's keeping the secret because it's very dangerous for females to be wielding that kind of power in her world. But her secret does come out when she actually saves Rook's life and naturally uses magic to do that. And then things definitely change for her. She's basically dubbed the Chosen One, and she's called to London, where she enters a completely different life, and that's where book 1 starts basically. And naturally this is the continuation, so because I do not want to spoil book 1 or 2, I will not go further into the story. This is a young adult urban fantasy book that takes place in an alternate reality to our own, in which magic is present, and there are 3 types of people that can use magic. The first are sorcerers, then we have magicians and witches. Out of the 3, witches are the most hard to find because they have been burned in the stake and there are very few left. Magicians are more common, but they have been pushed to the fringes of society and they're really looked down upon and not respected at all, but they're there. And then we have sorcerers who are ruling this society, and even they work with the queen. She has her order and it's full of sorcerers, and they sort of help her protect the world from the ancients that are threatening it. I really enjoyed this idea of the 3 types of people wielding magic, because I found that each group has, certain specifics that are different to the other 2 groups. They have different ways of wielding magic, and I really enjoy that. And of course, these groups do not like each other. They cannot really work together. They're always fighting each other, and it's just such a human thing to be doing, even, when there's a war going on. Everybody's always trying to figure out who's better, whose magic is better, who's greater, and all that. And it's such a human thing to do. But hopefully they will, sort of try to mend things among each other so they can defeat the enemy. So the enemy are the ancients, and these are creatures that came to this world from another dimension. Their goal seems to be utter destruction. They hate sorcerers, they hate humans, and they just kill whatever comes their way, and it's really hard to stop them because in the, 15 years that they have been here on Earth, the sorcerers were not able to stop them at all, and they have even, I don't think they even won a battle so far, so it's really hard to stop them, and they're running out of options. In this book we do find out a lot more about the ancients, where they came from, how they got here, and especially about this creature that is in charge of them. I'm not going to even try to pronounce the name because I will butcher it completely. But they have a leader, the ancients have a leader, and it's basically all up to him what they are doing and where they go and what they destroy. So, it's interesting to see what the motivation behind his vision of destruction is. The main cast of characters is the same as in the previous book. We follow a bunch of teenagers basically that have been thrust into an adult world, and they are carrying this burden of having to save the world on their shoulders, and they're dealing with that burden very differently. As one might think, there's a lot of angst present, and there are secrets being kept, and communication is not their strong suit, so there are a lot of rifts between them as well. Henrietta is the main female protagonist, and I would not necessarily, classify her as strong, but she's definitely very daring and headstrong. She's also very impulsive, and she sometimes does things that are not well thought through, and I wish that she did that because it would cause a lot of problems to just dissolve because they would not even arise, basically. As far as the boys go, I thought there could be slightly better developed. They're very distinct from one another, don't get me wrong, you don't mix them up, but a lot of the times I just felt that they're filling up a role so they could provide a bit more angst to the story, and especially when it comes to the romance department, you know, there are a lot of options for Henrietta, and she's not you know, one that would stick to one guy necessarily, you know, she's flighty in that regard. She changes her mind and all that, and because of that we have a lot of conflicts, and again, communication would help a lot with that. So I was not really thrilled about that, but all in all I did like them. There was just, you know, this small detail that bothered me a lot of the time. Regarding the romance, there was a twist at the end of the book that I wasn't really a fan of, so I'm really looking forward to the next book to see how that turns out. But all in all, this was a really good sequel. Yes, there's still some problems, and you know, especially with the characters, I felt. I really enjoyed the plot. It was really action-packed. There was always something going on, and there's a lot of secrets still that we have to find out. I like the world. I find it very fascinating, especially with the magic and how things came to be this way that they are. And I cannot wait to see how, hopefully, they defeat the ancients. Hopefully that will happen. And yes, I think that's it for this review. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know down in the comments whether or not you'll be picking these books up. And thank you for watching this video, and see you on my next one. Bye!